Hello, welcome to another edition of the Call It As You See It podcast. Today's edition will be about me ranting about Real Madrid Football Club. I'll be coming from an angle of a pundit or an analyst, and from the angle of a fan. Although I will not let my emotions as a fan becloud my judgment. Part of the reasons I started this podcast was seeing people going into punditry, be it ex-players, coaches, and people with the knowledge and people not very well versed with the knowledge of football analysis, where everybody's entitled to his or her opinion. People come online and offline and say what they need to say or say what they want to say, and a whole lot of people get away with it. Everybody gets away with it. We all know that social media doesn't forget. Sometimes it can be unforgiving, and it's okay to hold me accountable and pull out this video in the next 3 decades or 2 decades or next decade. That's if I'm still alive by then, or if we are all still alive by then. So I have seen people, like, when it comes to the knowledge of the game. For instance, I once knew I was going to go into this kind of thing when I saw or heard Micah Richards, the ex-Man City football player, ex-Aston Villa football player, ex-Fiorentina football player, ex-England football player, come on the CBS Sports show anchored by Kit Abdul, and having Thierry Henry on set and Jimmy Carragher, sorry. And it was in the year Real Madrid lifted the Champions League in 2021-2022 season. The year that Benzema rolled at Ballon d'Or sickening figures in terms of goals and assists. And in one of the games, one of the knockout games, I think in the quarterfinals or semis, I think in the quarterfinals thereabouts, Michael Richards came on that show to say that now he's glad. I'm not trying to quote him verbatim, but he said something along these lines. I said now that he's glad that Benzema could be counted in the same category as Harry Kane. I was like, really? You need to see the look on Thierry Henry's face that night, and he looked at him like with a sense of confusion. Like, what's this man saying? What's in this man they talk? Like, seriously? Benzema to Harry Kane? How? From where? Harry Kane will say he did Tottenham Football Club, trophyless Tottenham. We never see Champions League semi-final for in life. We never win any trophy for in life before. Michael Richards come up on mouth for that show. Doc say Harry Kane and Benzema are in the same category. Do we, seriously, do we know the history? I know it's kind of stale, but I just want to put a little perspective in this. The history of Benzema coming as a prodigy from Olympique Lyon to Real Madrid, wanted by the great Sir Alex Ferguson to play in the Manchester United Football Club, and he never honored that invitation. Was visited by Real Madrid Supremo, that is the president, Florentino Perez, visiting his house, brought in by a private jet to Real Madrid to come and sign. So that's the Karim Benzema he was comparing to Harry Kane. So ever since then I knew, seriously, this kind of people, they come on air, they talk this kind of thing. This is like talk. I don't be small fry for this punditry business. I pride myself in it. I know my game. I never played football to any level, any reasonable level. The last time I made a football team for any team I was playing for was in my primary school. I never made my secondary school football team. I never even got close to playing for in my university. But I know this game. I've invested a lot of time reading and watching this game. I've been a Real Madrid fan since year 2000. And it was a particular moment that spurred me into becoming a fan. That was a quarterfinal knockout game between Real Madrid and Manchester United, where our captain then Fernando Redondo made this move like a chop back, this traditional chop back that Cyrano used to do against the right back on the night for Manchester Football Club, and he squared play to Raul Gonzalez to score in that game. So that was the game that made me turn into a Real Madrid fan. But enough of all of that. I just want to go straight to what I'm about to speak about, and it's about Real Madrid as a football club this season and their coach, Carlo Ancelotti, who is a legendary manager and coach. He's a 65-year-old man, and he's been coaching for around 30 years. And he was an ex-football player. Played for the likes of Roma, played for AC Milan. So he's been in the game for at least 35 to 45 years, playing football and managing football clubs. So, Don Carlo you would never hear an ex-player speak ill of Carlo Ancelotti. In fact, I think, and a lot of people agree with me, he's the greatest manager of all time. I think the person that comes close will be Jurgen Klopp, with his big beer hugs and all of that. So Carlo Ancelotti has coached in clubs. He started out in Regina, coached in Regina around 95-96 season. Regina, Parma, Juventus, AC Milan, Chelsea, PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Napoli, Everton, and Real Madrid again. And on the average, Carlos spent a minimum of two to, in very rare cases, he did spend one season in any of these clubs. So on average, he spends 2 to 3 seasons. AC Milan was where he spent the longest of time. And it might be interesting to know that in these 30 years of managing football clubs, Carlo Ancelotti has only won league titles 6 times. 6 league titles. 6 league titles. And he has never been able to defend a league title in his career or any particular major trophy. Like a major trophy. He has never been able to do that. So even when he has coached powerhouses like AC Milan, Juventus, Chelsea, PSG, Bayern, Real Madrid, Napoli, Real Madrid, he has only won 2 La Liga titles with Real Madrid. In the second stint, this is second stint presently, he has won 2 league titles. So, and he is the coach who has won titles in every country he has been to. So I need to sing his praises first. He won a league title with AC Milan, won a league title with Chelsea, won a league title, French League 1 with PSG, won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, and won the La Liga with Real Madrid. 2 La Liga titles. So, and that is in 30 years of coaching, 6 league titles. Carlo is the manager who has won the most Champions League titles and been the most finals. He has won 5 titles out of 6 finals. He's won 2 with AC Milan and 3 with Real Madrid. In fact, one of the Champions League he won with AC Milan was one of the most the dullest Champions League final I've ever watched. That was in 02-03 between Juventus and AC Milan. That Champions League final was so dull, but they won it. Kudos to them. Now the only Champions League final he lost was the one he lost to Liverpool in Istanbul, where Liverpool did a comeback. We tell me the miracle of Istanbul, where they did a comeback and drew the game 3-3 and went on to penalties and won the Champions League in the 05 season. But for every final he has been to, he has won. So Carlo Ancelotti he's the best Champions League. He's the best manager when it comes to Champions League history. That being said, now this is where my grouse with Carlo Ancelotti lies. Carlo Ancelotti has been known to be a mastermind for some of the best formations we've seen in world football. One time when he was in Parma, he had the opportunity of signing Roberto Baggio, but because he could not shoehorn Baggio into his side because he could not play. Baggio was like a 10 or a supporting striker, or somebody who likes to play in the hole, and he could not create a formation that would house Roberto Baggio. He let Baggio. Baggio was now signed by Bologna, and he went on to score 25 goals in that season for Bologna. So ever since then, Carlo kind of like learned his lesson that he gambled and lost 25 goals free of charge to Bologna. That he would have found a way to make Baggio play in his team. So when he took the Juventus job, he found a way to make sure Zinedine Zidane could play in his team. So we've seen Carlo Ancelotti have formations from 4-4-2, 4-3-1-2, 4-1-2-1-2, 4-3-2-1. In fact, his famous 4-1-2-1-2, which he called it the diamond formation, because that 4 in the midfield lined up in a way where you could draw a shape of a diamond. So where he had Pirlo playing as his register, like his deep lying playmaker was his 4. In fact, Carlo Ancelotti is credited with converting Andrea Pirlo. Andrea Pirlo used to be an Inter academy boy, and he didn't get a chance to play in the Inter Milan team, and he was signed by AC Milan. And Carlo Ancelotti saw him and said, for him to make the most of his strengths, deployed him as a 4, a deep lying playmaker, playing in front of the defense. It wasn't necessarily screening the defense because he usually had the pit bull, General Gattuso, doing the dirty job for him, and sometimes Ambrosini also doing the dirty job for him. So he didn't have to do any marking there. So he is credited for converting Andrea Pirlo into playing that role. So, he came up with the formation of the diamond formation. He went to Chelsea, came up with the formation of the Christmas tree formation, where he did the 4-3-2-1 formation, and he would play with two 10s or two box-to-box midfielders in terms of Ballack and Lampard, and those ones were, credited with, we knew Lampard was having sickening figures as a midfielder, averaging more than 20 goals this season. So he was in Madrid. He played in the 4-3-3 formation with the BBC, and he also made Angel Di Maria play in the central midfield as a midfield trio with Xabi Alonso and Modric. And Di Maria happened to be the best player in Real Madrid season that year, where Madrid won the La Decima. So he has played in fantastic formations. In the second stint in Real Madrid, if we look at his third season, where we signed Jude Bellingham, he played in the 4-2 diamond again, where he made Bellingham as a 10, who was always having the free role to roam and arrive in the penalty box late to finish up chances, created by the Madrid front two. And the Madrid front two that year was Rodrigo and Vinicius. So, Bellingham had, for a midfielder, as a 20-year-old, come to Real Madrid and scoring, around 22 goals, if I'm not mistaken, 22 goals, 19 assists, thereabouts, in his first season. Carlo Ancelotti is credited with that. But one of the issues I have against Carlo Ancelotti is he's a very old school manager. He's in the same ilk, or in the same category with your Sir Alex, your good Gus Hiddink, Louis van Gaal, Felix Magath. You see the coaches I'm mentioning. These are very old school coaches. Arsene Wenger, Jupp Heynckes, Jose Mourinho. Carlo Ancelotti is in those category of people, and if you see those category of people, they are no longer in the game, or most of them have retired, or they're nearing retirement. So I do not see, in recent time, much of an innovation from Carlo Ancelotti. I do not know if we can credit a player improvement to Carlo Ancelotti. Now, let me just try and move a bit faster, and let me go into the season. So, Real Madrid came into the season losing Toni Kroos, who was arguably their best player last season. Losing Joselu, who was a squad player and scored some critical goals for Real Madrid. Losing Nacho, he played majority of the games last season due to injuries to Militao and Alaba, ACL injuries to those guys, and ACL injuries to Thibaut Courtois. And even like that, Carlo Ancelotti was able to find solution to that team, and they performed well, winning the double, Champions League double and La Liga double last season. So, this season, Real Madrid signed Kylian Mbappe on a free, and signed Endrick, the Brazilian prodigy, for around $45 million thereabout. He was signed. No defender was signed this season, and we went into this season with our so-called Fantastic Four. That is Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo Goes, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius Junior. Fantastic Four. Every pundit and analyst was like, if Madrid could have done what they did last season and they won the major trophies, that there was no stopping them this season. As soon as the team clicks into gear, that team played the UEFA Super Cup against Atlanta, and we saw a glimpse. It was not a smooth performance, but we saw a glimpse of what the team could do, and it was like, okay, if the team should click into gear, this team was going to sweep everybody this season. Unless if they will sweep anybody tomorrow, they're not getting anybody when they want to sweep anybody. So far, I don't see this season. This season, Real Madrid has had no particular playing style or pattern. Don Carlo has been unable to develop a system. Look at more glasses. Man, I see my eye. Don Carlo has been unable to come up with any system that would make that team tick or work. Don Carlo is the kind of coach who doesn't create system. He gives his players freedom to interpret the game as a seem fit, which is good. We have people who are castigating the likes of Pep Guardiola and his, people who tend to copy him. They've made football robotic. Players have to stay in positions, and there's a repeated pattern of play where the football has to follow a particular pattern, and people are in position to finish up chances. That is Pep Guardiola's style, or the likes of Thomas Tuchel. They have patterns which they repeat and repeat and repeat, and you see them cycling the ball from one side to the other, and which can sometimes lead to sterile possession, with no end product. And people feel Don Carlo's style is better. But this is the issue I have with Carlo. Where the pattern does not work, or where the system doesn't work, by giving the players the freedom to interpret the game, then the coach should be able to come into the game and tweak it, find solutions, tweaking it by rejigging the formation or tweaking player positions. But Carlo Ancelotti is the kind of coach where when he subs a left back comes in. When he subs a centre back comes in. If now 4 in come out, 4 go enter. If now 10 in come out, 10 go enter. If now 9 in come out, 9 go enter. Hardly will you see where Carlo Ancelotti is being innovative. Maybe unless if they pursue goal. Sometimes he go bring in 2 strikers. Maybe like last season where you see Joselu go come inside. Maybe you go come put maybe Jude Bellingham beside him. Go come they play cross and nod. Carlo Ancelotti this season, if you look at the Arsenal game, maybe before I go to the Arsenal game, Carlo Ancelotti Real Madrid Football Club has not beaten any team that is well coached, structured, and drilled this season. Real Madrid football team has lost 5 times in the Champions League this year, minus the Arsenal game, or maybe plus the Arsenal first leg game. AC Milan, Liverpool, Lille. These are teams where we say beat Real Madrid for this year Champions League. Real Madrid has only played 2 games this season, and those 2 games was against the Dortmund side. They later sacked their coach, Youri Sahin, which was a star work. Now, first major job in that. I don't even consider that one. In that game, Dortmund they lead Madrid 2-0 first half. Second half, Madrid come back win by 5-2. Dortmund will be Dortmund. Like seriously, we'll be Dortmund. Forget say we played Dortmund last season, we win for Champions League final 2-0 last season. Real Madrid beats Man City side ABC throughout this season. The only big team Man City don't beat not Chelsea, and because of Chelsea move themselves, Man City beat them home and away for the league. Arsenal beats Man City. Draw for first leg 2-2. When Man City be Man City, when they complain, no one Arsenal papa where to win Man City. Moko talk facts. This season, Man City no good. I know they discredit Arsenal victory where they win Man City 5-1. I bet they win there, but Man City no good. They're not good. Now you make Madrid feel win Man City home and away for Champions League. How now? How? So I don't even respect that victory against Man City at all. I don't respect them. Now make I fast forward. Make I move fast more. So we can't play Arsenal side. Let me say we be Madrid fans get that confidence. Say Madrid could win like that. But with the bank on the history and the aura, and I make me say they easy to call football game. Football fit change. So we look say Arsenal don't get that. But just like the way Bayern when they flog them come on last season on paper. Based on form, that's not supposed to be Bayern last season, but Bayern win them. Bayern win them based on say big team go always be big team. Now my mantra be that big team, not big team, any day, anytime. Upsets will happen. But you look this Arsenal side this season, maybe say they don't get a recognized striker. Their recruiting was not great, per se, and they've had their own injuries. And I think the best game they played this season were the games against Real Madrid, and credit to them, beat Madrid well, home and away. Home and away. You look the Madrid second leg. And Madrid they play cross and node. For what to node? You know Mbappe 9-1 node ni. I mean I will sell you CD the team. You know the number of crosses Madrid get. But first half, Madrid no get shot on target. And they won't do a remontada, come back. They don't let Arsenal fans, people don't drag me tire. People don't drag me, but my skin they tough. I've seen the lowest of lows of Real Madrid. Shane at the time of from the 2004 Champions League, BBC Monaco come out us for semi-final. From that season for 6 straight seasons. From 6 seasons, Madrid they come for round of 16. Leon they come out us anyhow. Roma they come out us. I don't see the lowest of lows for Real Madrid. I've been saying that don't way Barcelona they use our faces, they scrub ground. So not what I never say for Real Madrid Football Club. I get serious issues with Carlo Ancelotti's selections this season. Players go there. Players are no fit. Players no get form. You go to play them by force by fire. Ever since we Vinicius lose Ballon d'Or, about the kick sand. They play rubbish, they play dust. Vinicius gets 6 goals for this 2025. From January to date, now 6 goals Vinicius on score. Vinicius Junior. Kylian Mbappe come. You thought he would have been the leader of the team. Taking the team and carrying it by on his back. Now when we say Messi, Ronaldo, those guys are aliens. We're not going to see those kind of footballers again for our lifetime for this generation. Ronaldo come Madrid as a 24-year-old as a Ballon d'Or winner. And Ronaldo be. First season he scored 33 in 37 games thereabouts. Upon saying go 8 weeks injury, ankle injury. Mbappe come, Vinicius a full and share spotlight. Carlo no fit find system wey go make this team work. Even though not to bench one of them to give the midfield solidity. Madrid no get creativity for midfield. Nobody fit stone 60-yard pass. Just like the likes of Xabi Alonso that year or Toni Kroos. Nobody fit stone 60-yard pass wey go switch play. Release full back, so we say ball go dey behind opposition defense. Nobody fit dazzle. The time of Isco, but yeah, no disco. I didn't get any better time. We fit dazzle for me. We fit dribble 2 players before him pass ball. But I didn't get player. We say fit release 6-yard pass like Mesut Ozil. All our players they industrious. They get Ishon. They get power. They fit run from morning to evening. The likes of Fede Valverde. That guy na Eshin. I know if fault time because we don't make him play out of position most of the times. Jude Bellingham himself, now the day when he had did and go play. He has been lightly disappointed this season, although most of the fault will go to Carlo Ancelotti. Somebody played the position for you last season and he did it well, and you think you have to, you don't fix what is not broken. If you need to sacrifice one player from the front line to give your team that balance, you should have done that. Carlo Ancelotti go to play Alaba for 3. Person never played left back in ages. Even for Austria football team, Papa they play central midfield sometimes. Most times since when Guardiola coached Alaba, he has mostly played as a central back. Ghana they play 3. Ferland Mendy, we never get 5 assists in 2 seasons, but they play left back week in, week out. If not we say the injuries will be happen, if I not discover Raul Asensio, we go play Tchouaméni week in, week out for right back. Play Lucas Vazquez, we no be traditional right back for right back. So we no fit promote academy boy to come play that right back. How now? First, like a classical, I look Barcelona midfield. Now, 3 players played that midfield: Pedri, Marcasado, and Fermin Lopez. Then flog Madrid 4-0. Academy boys. Pau Kumbasi, a 19-year-old from Academy, which haven't been promoted. They play week in, week out for FC Barcelona. Madrid, Carlo no fit see any Academy boy wey fit use, be traditional right back, wey go use for that right back. Well, I can go on and on, but I don't want the ball now. For me, in as much as it's not right or it is not so okay for one to advocate for someone to lose his job. But this job now brutal business. Football who they watch, or where people they play, now brutal business. And they be professional coaches and footballers. So I don't want people to tell me say, well, if it's easy go play. I not be professional footballer. I be supply chain person. If I not good for my work, if they okay make it tell me say they incompetent. What I know if you take now make it they cost me say I decrease I demand. But if I not good for it, if I not do work, tell me say this work I do na crap. Go redo am. Do am where. So that's what professional footballer supposed to be. If he play rubbish, you go call him out. Professional coach rubbish, you go call him out. Forget saying get a coaching license. Now we they watch. Now we they pay ticket prices. People they pay ticket prices go watch football for stadium. So you give them what their money's worth. So if people don't do their jobs, make the head roll. That's why it's brutal. You're as good. Football not to the get history like that. You're as good as your last game. People not go to judge you by what you don't do in the past. So for me, I think say the time don't come for Carlo Ancelotti to pack him back. Like, you don't get what he want to do. You don't reach the ceiling for this Real Madrid side. You don't get anything you want to do for this team again. You know, for me, I just think the end has come. And I think he should be allowed to finish the season. You know, he has brought his team this far. He should be allowed to finish the season. But I think Madrid needs to go for a more tactically renowned coach. A coach who is ready to experiment and do something with the team at hand. And give the academy or the youths a look-in. I think on our way, sit down, hear this my boring rant, and you know, this is my analysis. Wanna hold me accountable for anything when I talk. And if you keep this video, call me out in the next 20 or 30 years. May God keep us alive. If you like the content, I beg more than like, share, and subscribe. Peace out.